everyone, if you're starting to watch, I'm just getting set up, so feel free to drop me a comment. Are we connected? All right. Hey everyone, if you're watching, just getting set up here. Send me a chat, post in the comments, let me know where you're here from, what you're looking for in your practice today. Happy to have you here. Yeah, I see a couple of you are on. Maybe just getting set up just like I am. I'm happy to be here, happy to be teaching yoga. There's a lot going on in the world right now. I'd love to hear how you are, wherever you are. What's it like in your area of the world? It's an interesting time. It's, this pandemic makes me think how interconnected we actually all are. And really gives me a place to pause and consider and ponder what is my impact in the world. So as you're joining, I'd love to see you. Drop me a chat, drop me a message, say hi. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and it's chilly today. It's been kind of warm the last few days, but chilly today, sunny. It's kind of our typical April. Oh, hi, Julie from Washington. Were you here last week as well? Your name seems familiar. But welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna go check on a few things, make sure. Oh yeah. Nice. Well, thanks, Julie. I love Denver too. I've only been to Seattle and Washington, and I think I went to an island off the coast of Seattle. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was beautiful. So green compared to Denver. Denver's so arid, or Colorado's so arid. Mountains and high altitude desert, I guess some people refer to it. I'm not sure if we're quite that, but close. So anyway, I see a few more people popping on. Let me know where you are. Say hi. I love to hear from you. And just so you know, if you want to follow a bit more I have a Facebook group called the Embodied Yoga Method. I'm a yoga therapist, and so a lot of the way that I teach is really trying to bring these concepts in our world, whether they're intellectual concepts or whether it's something emotional going on. I like to bring that into the body. I truly believe that we can learn all of this stuff in our heads, but until we integrate it through the body and bring the body into it, then it's not really a full spectrum of learning. So that's a little bit of my style, and you're welcome to join me. The Embodied Yoga Method is what my group is called. And I'll post in the comments after the class, so you can always refer back. This class should be available for a week or two, so you can watch it, rewatch it, or practice to it. Yeah. I'm gonna go check on a few things. I'll be right back. All right, popping back in. We've got about 3 minutes. 3 minutes till the class. I heard from Julie. I'm glad you're here from Washington. That's awesome. Anyone else? Say hi, drop me a line. Tell me where you are. What's the weather like? You know, all those things that if you have practiced in yoga studios before all of this social distancing hit, then I'm guessing that you, like me and many others, are missing that connection. Just a little bit of chit chat, you know. I like to say I'm not into small talk, and yet small talk is where it all begins, right? And small talk is what we get to engage in when we check in at the yoga studio, go to the locker room, put our things away, set up the mat, you know. And from there, it starts to deepen, it starts to grow. Yeah. So join me in my Facebook group, the Embodied Yoga Method. I have a lot of things coming up. One of which being a workshop on compassionate communication to create conscious connection. How's that sound? Really, it's learning how to slow down the communication that we do with each other so that we can stay out of that space of reactivity and remain in a space of connection. And a lot of this has to do with, as a yoga therapist, a lot of this has to do with the work on the central nervous system and just recognizing that when we're in a place of homeostasis, this place of equilibrium or calm, we're able to connect. And we are social beings. We need that connection. We thrive on it. We live on it. We crave it. And if we're operating from a place of heightened arousal, which is like sympathetic, when you move into it's excitement. Excitement is good, right? We want excitement. But then as you move further into that realm of excitement, it gets unnerving. It gets towards panic. It gets towards, it moves, towards that fight or flight state. And in that state, we're unable to connect or truly connect. And even for some of us, when I talk about the difference between survival and thriving, there's a big difference there, right? Survival is just kind of going through life, getting there. Thriving is that higher vibration, that elevated state. And yet that idea, that concept, the feeling in the body of thriving can be unnerving. We have these words, right? Unnerving, which is the nerves, the central nervous system, can be taking us into that sympathetic arousal. And so one of the things that yoga does is it helps us to calm, to breathe, to bring it back to that state of homeostasis so we can truly engage and interact with others, connect with others consciously. So I see a few more people popping on. Good to see you. Pop in the chat. Where are you? Thank you. Yeah, let me know where you are, where you're coming from. How are you doing today? Just like in the yoga studio, the teacher sits down and says, how are you today? How's your body feeling? So I'll get going in just a minute. Make sure you have any props available to you that you might regularly use. You know your body, you know your practice. I can't see you, so take care of yourself. If you don't have a block, I suggest a thick book. You can see on my shelf behind me, I've got, that's Jane Austen and the complete works of Sherlock Holmes. Those kinds of big, thick books are really nice if you're needing something stable as a prop. I recommend stacking a couple on top of each other. Blankets, obviously any blankets you have around your home. A towel makes a really good blanket prop because it's thick. Also pillows, you can use any basic general pillows, whatever you need. Yeah. Anyone else want to say hi? I'd love to hear from you, love to see where you are. And I've been rambling on already about the topic for today. Inglewood, California, awesome. Thank you. So we've got a lot of West Coast people. I'm right in the middle of Colorado. Last week we had some from the East Coast, West Coast, North, South. I think we even had Ireland and Mexico and Belgium joining in. That was really exciting. I love that this online arena can span the globe. Truly, it enables us to pervade time and space, doesn't it? From New York, thank you. Good to see you here. It pervades time and space, this online arena. It's almost like human consciousness, right? Oh, the UK, awesome, love it. You know, we are expansive, and this consciousness that we are, these conscious beings that we are, we get stuck in our small worlds, and it's so interesting how we created this internet, this way of connecting with people across time and across space. And so, like, when I say across space, around the globe, we can all connect around the globe. And then across time, because this video will be available to you for the next week, the next 2 weeks. So even when I am not physically here, you may be engaging with me. So interesting to think about that. So as we get going, yeah, welcome, and please put where you are. Where are you in the world? Put it in the chat. As we get going, this practice is going to have some twists. There may be a couple opportunities for arm balances. I like to think of variations. Every iteration of the pose is the pose itself. So it's not about how deep you go. It's not about going to the 10th degree. You know, you don't have to put your leg behind your head to be a yogi. It's not about that at all. It really is about doing what your body is ready to do. And that's the best that we can do. I work from the premise that the body is the vehicle of the spirit. And if we can befriend the body and invite the body into the fullness of our experience, then we begin to live life better. And living life better means shifting from survival to thriving. And I believe that we can all do that. And as I work as a yoga therapist and a coach, I love helping people get there. So please, if that's interesting to you, if you've never tried yoga therapy before, connect with me. Find out what it's all about. Also, I hope you have a thing to sit on. Take a tall seat. We'll just dive in right here. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And take a few breaths that bring you back to yourself. We have this mind, this intellect, and so often we can wander around just in our heads. And our heads can create scenarios, right? We can remember the past, we can project into the future, and we forget to be here. And so those first few breaths are really about bringing yourself back to your own self. Noticing that you are a physical being, moving and breathing. You're also an energetic being, sensing the world through energy. You are also an emotional being. And emotions being energy in motion, they're closely linked. Energy has, or emotions have, an energetic quality to them. Fear has an energy. Joy has an energy. Sadness has an energy. You are also a being with mind, consciousness, intellect, thought, memory. And so some sensations that you notice may be manifested from that level of your being. And then, going beyond all of those layers, so in yogic philosophy, these are called the koshas. They're illusory layers of our being. Then we get to this place of ananda, ananda being bliss without reason or cause. Ananda being as close to the true self or the self of the self as you can come. And so truly allow those breaths to bring you back to yourself. Land here now. And so the last few weeks I've been really thinking of resiliency and what makes us resilient as humans. And I truly believe it's a practice. And it's a practice of again and again returning to breath and body as wisdom, nourishment, and guides as we move about life, shifting from surviving to thriving. And so diving into a theme for today, befriending your body. Your body is the vehicle of your spirit. It has been with you through every crisis, every celebration. And so check in with your body now. What is it saying to you? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? What do you notice? Just be. Be with it. No need to fix, solve, figure out. Just be. I posted to Facebook last night a little bit of a summary of things that have been stirring up for me lately. And really you look at the media, and honestly, I don't know where to turn right now. Who's right, who's wrong, whose advice do I follow? And then I see a lot of people challenging each other, distrusting each other because one person posts one thing and another posts another. And so time and again, I come back to body and breath. Body and breath as my guides to move forward. And some things that you can bring in is check in with your body now. Is this here and now helping or hurting? Are the actions you're taking helping or hurting? Are the thoughts that you're having helping or hurting? Notice how your body responds. And you can do the same as you seek information, knowledge, wisdom, guidance. Is what you're watching, what you're viewing, what you're reading, listening to, is it helping? Is it hurting? Ask your body. Is this helping me or hurting? And so stay with it just a few more breaths, a few more moments until you feel like you have a sense of helping or hurting. You have a sense, a connection to your own body. And then as you're ready, begin to move. So come forward into tabletop. And start to move through your body. See what's there. Explore the sensations. Perhaps you start moving through some cat-cows, lowering your belly, lifting your gaze on the inhale. Pushing the floor away, arching your spine up towards the ceiling on the exhale. And doing that a few times, maybe you start to notice a sensation in your body that says move side to side, or move forward and back, or perhaps it's a spiral. See what your body says. Maybe at some point you want to come into a child's pose. Or maybe you want to come all the way forward, lowering your hips, pulling your shoulders back, and coming into a cobra pose. Allow your body to guide you. And then with the knowledge that we will meet in down dog next, take your time, feeling into your body, into your shapes, until your body says it's time. Move to your down dog. And coming into your down dog, go ahead and pedal out your feet. Press down through the base of each finger where the finger meets the palm of your hand, especially bringing some awareness to the base of your thumb and index finger. And then get longer through the armpits. Notice how your body responds as you get longer through the armpits. And then there's the sense that the ribcage stacks directly over the pelvic bowl. And so draw the front of your ribs towards the back. And see if you can get just a little longer from there. Allow for a soft bend in your knees, enough that you can lift your sitting bones higher. And come back to your breath. What does your body say here and now? With your next inhale, step your right foot forward. Spin your back heel to the mat and then walk your hands over to the left side. So your fingertips will be on the floor, lifting your palms and reaching from your tailbone all the way through your fingers. Put some engagement in your legs. Move the right knee towards the outside edge of your mat and rotate the left thigh up towards the ceiling, which will seal the outside edge of your left foot down a little bit more. Notice how your body responds. Can you lift your sitting bones a little more? Draw the front of your ribs towards the back. And continue to extend and lengthen and breathe. So now walk your hands back towards the front of your mat, spin your back heel up. Press the left hip and hamstring up towards the ceiling while you pull your right hip back. Then your right hand goes on your thigh. Draw the front of your ribs towards the back and begin to twist. Pushing down through the left hand and even rotate the left shoulder open like you open a jar lid. That will help to broaden across the chest. Lift your right arm high. Maintain strength and engagement in your legs, even as you're rotating through the torso. Good, then release your hands down to the mat. Drop your back knee down. First of all, I want you to shift your hips back. So even though I know you can go further forward, I want you to be back so that your knees are at a 90-degree bend. Hug your right knee in towards your shoulder. Your inner thigh engages and pull your hip back. Then drop to your forearms. Forearms on a block. Forearms on a book. Forearms to the floor. Keep hugging your right knee in towards your shoulder. Notice how your core responds. Pubic bone to navel, even front of ribs to back. So you're almost rounding through the spine. Let the crown of your head drop to the floor and breathe. Good, then walk your hands back up. This time I want you to come forward. So you're coming as far forward as you can. Wiggle that right foot forward and even out towards the right, turning your toes out a little bit, and let your hips soften towards the mat, however much they do. Take your left hand a bit wider, fingers point out, rotate again. So just like we did in that revolved lunge, you're gonna open up. If you're ready for a bit more, bend your back knee. Reach that right arm up and around, grab the pinky side edge with your thumb facing up. Kick your foot into your hand to open up through the chest more. Good, then release this all the way down. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Hold the downward facing dog, breathe. Press down through the base of each finger, especially index finger and thumb. Get longer through the armpits, front of ribs to back, soft bend in your knees, lift sitting bones higher. Good, your next breath, step your left foot forward on the outside of your left hand, spin the heel down, walk hands over to the right side, come up onto your fingertips. So again, you're getting as long as you can from tailbone all the way through your fingers while your legs are like a warrior two. Rotate the back thigh away from you, rotate the front thigh up towards the ceiling, lift sitting bones, front of ribs to back, lengthen, breathe. Notice how your body responds. And then walk your hands forward, so going into that revolved lunge. Your right hand is slightly off the mat, spin your back heel up. You're gonna press right hip and hamstring up while you pull the left hip back. There's a whole lot of strength and engagement in the legs. Left hand to your hip, front of ribs to back, begin to twist towards the left. And again, this right shoulder rotated away from you like you're opening a jar lid. That'll start to open across the chest and collarbones, and then eventually lift the left arm high. Strong in the legs. Pull the left hip back, press the right hip and hamstring up. Front of ribs to back, see if you can twist a little more. Good, then return your hands to the mat, back knee to the mat. Shift your hips back again, you're more at a 90-degree angle at the legs. Drop down to forearms, whether you're propped up or on the floor. Squeeze the left knee in, pull your left hip back. Strong in the core, pubic bone up towards your navel, then press the front of the back body. Let the crown of your head fall down. For some of you, this might feel like a big stretch. For others, it doesn't feel like much stretch at all, but do feel into the engagement. And release that, walk your hands forward. So now you get to go into that depth of the stretch. Wiggle your left toes forward, turn your toes outwards. Yeah, and then place your right hand on your left knee. Again, you are engaging through the core, front of ribs to back. Lift up, press into the right hand, open. Open up through the collarbones, the shoulder, then maybe, if you're ready for more, swing that left arm up and around, grab the outside edge of your foot. Hitchhiker's thumb, so your thumb's facing up. Kick your foot into your hand and allow that to direct. It's really the upper torso, right around the rib cage that we're working. The engagement in the legs is to stabilize the pelvis and the low back so that what you're moving through, what you're twisting through is the upper body. Good, release that. Step back, downward facing dog. Notice how your body is responding to the things that you have done, the actions that you have brought in. We can do this on the yoga mat in our physical asana, our physical practice. What if you did that in life? In every encounter, interaction, action, thought, engagement. How is my body responding to this? Your next inhale, gaze forward. Your exhale, bend your knees, draw the front of your ribs towards the back body and push the floor away. And then step, walk, or float feet to hands. This first one, separate your feet nice and wide, bend your knees, grab opposite elbows, let yourself hang, ragdoll. Sway side to side, shake your head yes and no. See in this moment, is there anything I'm holding on to? What would happen if I let go just a little? And then walk your feet a little closer in. When you bring your hands to your hips, squeeze your elbows together behind you. Start to lengthen forward through the crown of your head. And the whole idea, draw the front of your ribs to the back so you're strong in the core. Knees are still bent, shoulders are lifted towards the back body. Come all the way up to stand. Drop your hands by your sides. Then reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Draw hands to heart center, soften gaze, close your eyes. Be here now with this body, with this breath, and this moment. With your next inhale, sweep your arms wide and high. With your exhale, you'll dive forward over the legs. Plant your hands, draw forehead towards your shins. Inhale, hands to shins, straighten arms and lengthen torso. So your knees are bent, press shins forward into hands, front of ribs to back. Then plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Hold strong in the plank. You can drop your knees at any time, but do draw front of ribs to back. Press your hands wider, lift your head in line with your shoulders. Good, your next inhale, come forward, lower all the way to your belly. So we'll start, I call this a locust into cobra. Start with the legs, forehead on the mat, walk your hands back so they line up with your rib cage. With legs strong, lift your legs away from the mat, the hamstrings and glutes. Now lift your shoulders to your ears, start to retract them. Pull them onto your back body as you move your chest forward. Chin is level. Press into your hands until feet reach the floor. Now there's your cobra, make your legs stronger. Ribs forward, shoulders back, chin level. Ears back, maybe you can press your arms a little straighter. Again, check in with your body. How is your body responding to this? And then release all the way down. Flip your toes, press straight up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. And then we'll move through a few more Sun salutations, breath to movement. Build a little heat. Your next inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend knees. Walk, step, float, feet to hands. Bring hands to hips, squeeze elbows together behind you, lengthen through the crown of your head, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands by your sides. Inhale, sweep arms high. Exhale, hands to heart center, soften gaze or close your eyes. Be with this breath, this body, in this moment. Flowing with breath, inhale, reach your arms wide and high. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Drop hands, forehead to shins. Inhale, hands to shins, straighten arms and lengthen. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Stay in the plank. Shift weight forward, lower all the way to your belly. Lift your legs, lift and retract shoulders, press into hands until feet reach. And then lower all the way down. Flip toes, press straight up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. How is your body responding now? Next inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend knees, feet to hands. Fold all the way over shins. Inhale, hands to shins, straighten arms, lengthen torso. Remember to press shins forward into hands, so knees are not locked out. And lengthening through the spine, front of ribs towards the back body. Bring hands to hips, squeeze elbows, come all the way up to stand. Drop hands beside you, then inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center, soften gaze or close your eyes. This body, this breath, this moment. Now sweep your arms wide and high. With your exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, plant hands, forehead to shins. Inhale, hands to shins, straighten arms and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Shift weight forward, lower to your belly. Lift legs, lift and retract shoulders, press hands until feet reach. Make your legs strong here, ribs forward, shoulders back, chin is level, ears back. That might make a little more space in your body. Good, now lower all the way down. Flip toes, press straight up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Press down through the base of each finger. Get longer through the armpits, front of ribs to back, strong through the core. Slight bend in the knees, sitting bones lift. Now with your next inhale, float the right leg high. As you do, there's a point where the hip's gonna want to lift and a whole lot of other things happen. What I want you to do is drop it just below your hip, then draw the front of your ribs to the back. Then slowly start to lift your leg just high enough, feeling the hamstring and glutes lifting the leg. Now bend your knee until your heel comes as close to your butt as you can, and then press your knee higher. And when you do, that's what will create this twisting action through the body, but the stacking of the hips. Keep your shoulders level, so press your right shoulder down as you allow the hips to stack a little more. There's a slight twist through the torso. Now straighten your leg, dial pinky toe down so hips come level again. Step through, low lunge. Back heel to the mat, come up to a warrior one. So in that warrior one pose, dive deep into your front knee, pull the right hip back, rotate the left thigh away from you. Now lengthen left side. There's a slight twist in the body. Lengthen the left side forward and up. Keep diving deep into that front knee. Front of ribs to back, even here. Drop the right arm down, reach for your thigh, your hip, whatever you got. Left arm comes to the outside of your front knee. Dive deeper. Now from the strength of your back leg, sit taller, find that twist. Good, now reach your arms up to the ceiling. With your exhale, take them down to the floor, step back, plank pose. This time, as you hold the plank, drop right hip down, then come up through center, drop the left hip down. Come up through center. This can be done with knees down as well. Whatever you need. 2 times. Good. After a few times, press back downward facing dog. And breathe. So we're working twists through the body. Sometimes twists are subtle. Sometimes they're big. The ones we're doing so far are ones that we can do from the strength of our own bodies without the cranking or pushing with external forces. When you're ready, lift your left leg high. Once again, notice that place where your hips start to tilt. Stop there, drop your leg down below your hip height. Straighten it. Draw the front of your ribs towards the back and then lift your leg. Should create more sensation in hamstring and glutes. Then bring your heel towards your butt, squeeze it in. Start to press your knee higher. And as you do, keep lengthening the right side and lower your left shoulder towards the mat. Draw front of ribs towards the back and continue to open. It's a twist, subtle. Straighten your leg, dial pinky toe down. Exhale, step through low lunge. Back heel to the mat, warrior 1. So again, dive deep into the front knee, rotate the right thigh away from you, strong through the core, pubic bone to navel, front of ribs to back, lift your arms up. Lengthen the right side forward and up. Often in these poses, we sink back into the low back. Try lengthening forward and up. Keep pulling your left hip back, rotate your right thigh away from you. Now drop the left knee or hand behind you, right hand to your left knee. Get taller through the torso and begin to twist. So notice the stability of the foundation, the lower part of the body, while you're allowing that upper, the rib cage, the thoracic spine to twist, but continue to draw front of the ribs to the back body. So you're not twisting in a back bend. Rather, you're twisting from an aligned, centered space. Notice how your body responds. With your inhale, lift your arms high. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, plank pose. This time, shift weight forward, lower to your belly. Left legs, lift and retract shoulders. Press into hands until feet reach. From the strength of the legs, wiggle ribs forward, pull shoulders back, chin is level, ears move back. If you want an upward facing dog, flip your toes, lift hips, pull hips forward, then repoint your toes. Again, pull shoulders back. Good, take it back to downward facing dog. And take 3 breaths here. Befriending the body. Invite the body into the fullness of your experience. Notice how your body responds with every action, every interaction, every thought, information you're taking in, information you're giving out. So now, if you have a book or a block, grab it and place it at the top of your mat. Ideally, you've got the height of the block on its highest height. If you don't have that accessible, you can also use a stool or a chair, an ottoman. Work with what you've got. And then from your down dog, sweep your right leg high. Find that space where your hips start to move, and there, bend your knee, open your hip. Good, straighten your leg, pinky toe dials down, step through low lunge. Good, in this low lunge, I want you to launch. So grab your block, launch into what I call Warrior 3 prep. So the block, or the book, or the ottoman, whatever you've got, is underneath you. in such a way that you can have your arm extended and your torso parallel to the floor. Hug your back leg in towards the midline and rotate the inner thigh up. Good. From that place, draw the front of your ribs towards the back and lengthen through the crown of your head. Take a breath in. And with your exhale, it's a jiva squat. So bend your knee, left knee behind the right, front of ribs to back. Hold this or bring your hands to heart center. Good. Now drop your hands to the block or the floor and slide your left knee all the way down to the floor, coming into a seat. So all the twists that we've done up until this point have involved using your strength to get there. Now you've got a little bit of leverage from the arms, but set yourself up for success with the strength. You might want a blanket underneath your sitting bones. Press the right sitting bone down, wiggle the right foot forward so it's flat on the floor. Press your big toe down. Now lift your knee, pull it across your body, sit up tall right through the center. Remember how we've twisted through the rib cage. Begin there. Your right hand can come behind you. You can hook your knee with your left arm. You can cross the knee with your arm. All the while, keep drawing the front of ribs to the back and continue to move through the ribs. Bring your chin level. Ears line up over shoulders. You're gazing straight over your collarbones. And then finally, turn your chin over the right shoulder. All the while, notice how your body responds to the actions you're taking. You might feel a big stretch on the outer right hip. You might be noticing the twist. You might notice your breath. What happens as you stay here? Pause, hold, breathe. Does your body respond by going deeper? Good, unwind. And as you unwind, lean back, shins parallel to the ceiling, palms up. Navasana boat pose, pubic bone to navel, front of ribs presses towards the back, and lift up through the collarbones. Maybe you straighten your legs. When you're ready, cross your legs or sweep them to the side. We're going straight back to a downward facing dog. Notice your body in this downward facing dog. So now lift your left leg high again. Notice that place where you lose the hamstring and glute engagement because you just brought the hip into it. Go right there. Bend your knee, then start to stack your hips. Notice that subtle twist in the body. Front of ribs presses towards the back while you press down through the palms. Straighten your leg, dial pinky toe down. Exhale, step through a little lunge. Grab your prop, whatever you've got, launch. This is your, I call it a warrior 3 prop. Your arms are straight, your torso parallel to the floor, your back leg parallel to the floor. Draw the front of your ribs towards the back body. Then hug the right leg in towards midline, rotate the inner thigh up. Keep your head in line with your shoulders. Good, so now jiva squat. Right knee comes behind the left. Bend both knees, pubic bone to navel, front of ribs to back. There's a lot of core strength here. Hands can come to prayer if you like. Hold it. Then release your hands, slide the right knee down to the floor and sit down. So all those adjustments so that we can create the deepest twist in the body. Your left foot needs to be flat on the floor. It's not in towards your hip. That's going towards cow face pose. That's a different pose. Plant it, big toe on the floor. Press your left sitting bone down. If left sitting bone doesn't reach the floor, I recommend a blanket to sit on. Lift your legs slightly and pull it across your body. Move the front of your ribs towards the back and then begin to twist. You might hook your elbow, you might take your elbow across, all depends on how your body responds. You're still working on that twist. Keep your gaze straight forward, chin level, ears right over your shoulders, and continue to work the twist through the middle of your body, right through the rib cage. Not the lower back, but right through the rib cage. Notice how your body responds. Keep moving and working the twist. Continue to notice your breath. Eventually take your chin right over your left shoulder. When you're ready, unwind. We've got one final Navasana boat pose. Lean back, parallel shins, lift palms up, pubic bone to navel, front of ribs to back, lengthening up through the collarbones, maybe straightening the legs. Now when you're ready, as you're ready, take it back to your last down dog of this practice and breathe. Notice your body now. You feel a sense that you could get a little bit longer from the crown of your head up through your tailbone. Front of ribs continue to draw towards the back body, longer through the armpits, anchored down through the pads of each finger and through the pads of each toe. Heels can be lifted or down, knees are soft. Now when you're ready, as you're ready, make your way into a seat. And then come onto your back. So settling in for Shavasana, that place of rest and integration. You have practiced, you have moved, you've paid attention to your body. You've noticed how your body responds in the ways that you're asking it to. What if you could take that body-centered awareness, that connectedness to yourself into your life? Always keeping in the forefront of your mind, is this action helping or hurting? Is this thought helping or hurting? Is this information helping or hurting? One final shape before Shavasana. Walk your feet in. Maybe you can tickle heels with your fingertips. Press down into your big toe. Align your thighs so the inner thighs engage. And then start to press your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep drawing your inner thighs closer together, which might mean that your hips drop down. But from that place, hugging outer hips in, maybe you can lift your hips a little higher. Perhaps shimmy your shoulders underneath of you, bringing chest closer to the chin. Stay for about 5 breaths. Notice how your body responds. And then lower your hips down towards the mat. Wiggle your feet a little wider, let your knees knock together. If it feels good in your body, you can windshield wiper the legs side to side, side to side. And as soon as you are ready, move to your Shavasana, your place of rest. And I invite you to stay there as long as you need to. Notice your breath, your body. I will conclude the class, the practice. But as this is your space to be, take your time. I'm Kristen Boyle, and you can connect with me through Facebook. I have a group called the Embodied Yoga Method. And the whole premise is inviting the body into the fullness of your experience so that you can truly thrive. I'm a yoga therapist and life coach. And if I can support you in any way, be in touch. Thank you for being here with this practice. I'd love to see some comments from you after if you like. Have a lovely day. Namaste. And for any of you who are sticking around, I'll be here for a few moments. I'll watch the chat if you'd like to say anything, say thank you, or tell me how your practice was. Thanks for being here, everyone. Namaste.